Welcome to Impact Signals, Social Impact at the Scale of AI. I'm Charlie.
And I'm Sarah.
It's Saturday, August 15, 2026, episode 104. Today the question is not who wrote a check, it is who gets handed an algorithm. A federal agency funding predictive models inside child protection decisions in 10 jurisdictions, an AI-generated robocall that emptied 7 Georgia schools, and 15,000 pairs of AI glasses going to every blind adult on one national charity's books. We start in the United States, where the Administration for Children and Families, the federal agency that oversees child welfare, just committed $6 million to put predictive analytics inside 10 child welfare systems.
What makes this significant is where in the process these models land. The stated uses are triaging hotline calls, improving foster care placements, and reaching permanency faster. Those are the decisions that determine whether a child is removed from a home.
State Scoop reported the awards on August 13. Each jurisdiction gets roughly $600,000 in one-time funding. Indiana, Missouri, Nebraska, New Jersey, North Carolina, Ohio, Oklahoma, Texas, the District of Columbia, and the Muscogee Creek Nation. The 3-year pilots begin September 30.
The money runs in 2 directions at once. A model tuned to flag risk expands a family's contact with the system, and the same model tuned to divert low-risk families out of investigation reduces it. These awards fund both framings, and the open questions named around them are data quality, bias, and the effect on the families who get scored.
Assistant Secretary Alex Adams drew the line himself. He said the technology should support caseworkers, and in his words, it should never replace decisions that those highly skilled, highly valued humans are making.
The Muscogee Creek Nation's inclusion also puts a tribal child welfare system in the same cohort as 8 states and the District of Columbia. The next verifiable milestone is already dated: what each jurisdiction has actually built by September 30 and what it discloses about how the scores get used in the field.
Moving to Ireland, where Meta announced on August 12 that it will donate 15,000 Ray-Ban Meta glasses to Vision Ireland, the country's national sight-loss charity.
What makes this significant is the denominator. 15,000 is enough for every blind and visually impaired adult Vision Ireland supports, so uptake and sustained use can be measured against a known population instead of a marketing number.
Meta covers the hardware and funds the training. Vision Ireland assesses eligibility and delivers the in-person support, and recipients register through a dedicated site and phone line rather than buying anything at retail. The functions are reading printed text aloud, identifying objects, describing surroundings on voice command, and live translation, with a handoff to the Be My Eyes volunteer network when the model cannot do the task.
The counterweight was published the same week. Tech Policy Press argued on August 12 that accessibility has been an afterthought in these glasses rather than a design premise, and the open questions about recording people without consent and about facial recognition do not close because of a donation. This deployment also concentrates a dependency. The assistive layer for a country's blind adults now runs on one company's consumer hardware and terms of service.
Story 3, Northern Nigeria. The Aid for Rural Education Access Initiative and the Raspberry Pi Foundation are rolling the Experience AI curriculum across Adamawa, Borno, and Benue states, plus the Federal Capital Territory. Both organizations describe it as the first large-scale rollout of the program in the North.
What makes this significant is that the output is certification, not procurement. Most AI in education announcements ship units. This one produces trained people, so the number you can verify later is a count of certified facilitators.
The numbers are specific: 450 educators trained and certified as Experience AI facilitators, reaching an estimated 16,000 students and community beneficiaries. That is roughly 1 facilitator for every 36 learners. The Guardian Nigeria reported it on August 13.
The initiative's global executive director, Gideon Alanruwaju, named refugees and displaced learners as the group most at risk of being excluded from AI entirely, and Adamawa and Borno carry among the largest displaced populations in the country. The open field question is power and connectivity, because the Experience AI materials were not originally built for classrooms that lose both.
Pivoting to Georgia, where the Jackson County school system canceled classes district-wide on August 14 after 6 schools received bomb threats delivered as automated robocalls in an AI-generated voice, left overnight on school voicemail.
What makes this significant is the exchange rate. Every campus was searched. No explosives and no safety hazards were found at any of them, and one district still lost a full instructional day to a recording that cost the caller close to nothing to produce.
Cherokee Bluff High School in neighboring Hall County received one too, and investigators believe the threats in the two counties are connected. Jackson County schools were cleared by 11:30 a.m. Federal investigators. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation and the State Emergency Management Agency are all on it. Officials suspect an international source, and no origin has been identified.
Jackson County Superintendent Philip Brown explained the full-day cancellation as logistics rather than panic. There was not enough time to safely inspect the buildings and still feed students on schedule. The operational decision that mattered was made by a superintendent weighing search time against a lunch schedule, not by anyone with access to the model that produced the voice.
Our last story today is Pakistan. Khyber Pakhtunkhwa's Elementary and Secondary Education Foundation has taken its global virtual school live at scale, with reporting on August 15 putting 175 public schools connected to the platform and a provincial plan to reach around 500.
What makes this significant is the slot the AI is filling. The province is connecting schools that are short of subject teachers, so the virtual teacher is covering staffing gaps in remote districts rather than supplementing a full faculty. That is a different deployment from a tutor bolted onto a working classroom.
The service covers grades 6 through 12 with virtual classrooms, live and recorded lessons, assessments, progress tracking, and virtual lab exercises. The AI teacher explains lessons and answers questions in 3 languages: Urdu, English, and Pashto. Pro-Pakistani reported the scale-up on August 15.
Pashto is the replicable part. It is the first language across much of the province, and it was a provincial government, not a vendor, that drove first language coverage into the product. The province approved its AI Education Authority back in April, so the number worth watching now is not schools connected, but whether learning outcomes move in the connected districts.
On the disaster watch, the U.S. Geological Survey recorded a magnitude 7.7 earthquake 68 kilometers north-northwest of End, on Flores in Indonesia, on August 14 at a depth of 10 kilometers, followed 30 minutes later by a magnitude 6.1 aftershock. The Global Disaster Alert System has it at red and estimates roughly 1.7 million people exposed to severe shaking. Also on the board, a separate magnitude 6.9 in North Sumatra on August 15, about 2,000 kilometers from the Flores sequence. A magnitude 7.4 in San Jose del Palmar, Colombia on August 10, where the national government declared a disaster and Relief Web has opened a situation page, flooding across multiple Chinese provinces that has displaced 237,338 people since July 31. And a standing drought alert across the Democratic Republic of Congo, Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda.
Note the depth on Flores. 10 kilometers is shallow, which is why a magnitude 7.7 puts 1.7 million people in the severe shaking band, and why an aftershock 30 minutes later matters to anyone doing structural assessment. Colombia is the higher significance event in the window and already has 5 days of coordinated relief behind it. Flores is 24 hours old.
On the calendar, the Robotics for Good Youth Challenge announced its 2026 to 2027 cycle on August 14, with national competitions running through the cycle. EDER Indonesia, a disaster technology exhibition and conference, opened on August 12, and the India AI Impact Summit has sessions running through this weekend.
The detail that decides whether Robotics for Good is usable to you is that the national round dates are set per country by national partners, not centrally. There is no single global deadline to put in a calendar.
Funding Watch. The Administration for Native Americans, inside the same federal agency funding today's lead story, has an open call for the Artificial Intelligence for American Indians Action Institute. The deadline is August 27 on a 30-day application window.
The eligibility list is wider than the name suggests. Federally recognized tribes, incorporated non-federally recognized and state-recognized tribes, consortia of tribes, incorporated nonprofit multipurpose community-based Indian organizations, urban Indian centers, Native community development financial institutions, and Alaska Native villages all qualify. 12 days left on that window.
The through line today is not who wrote a check. It is who is being handed an algorithm. 10 child welfare systems, 15,000 blind adults in Ireland, 16,000 learners in northern Nigeria, and 175 schools in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa.
And in Georgia, an algorithm was handed to someone nobody has identified, and it emptied 7 schools for a day. Every one of those is a governance question with a date attached, and the first date on the board is September 30, when the child welfare pilots begin.
That's Impact Signals for Saturday, August 15, 2026. If this briefing is useful, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Check us out at impactsignals.ai and share it with someone working in the field.
Stay ready.